Okay, we are now on item 4, public hearings. Public hearings is for advertised public hearing items where formal testimony of each individual is accepted prior to council action. The first one is public hearing for city council consideration for the approval of 2014-15 annual action plan, including projects to be funded with a community development block grant and home investment partnership funds. Mr. Talbert.
Thank you. The city's participation plan for HUD programs provides that we have a 30-day public review and comment period, as well as a public hearing for the draft action plan prior to the approval by the city council. This process is the final step to comply with HUD regulations. For the fiscal year, the city will receive $1,092,105 in CDBG funds and $296,679 in home funds. The action plan specifies how the city will use the CDBG and home funds to address the City of Corona's housing, community, and public service needs. On February 12th, the Public Service Committee reviewed and approved the staff funding recommendations for 2014-15 program year, which are reflected in the action plan you will be approving this evening. The action plan includes CBG funding for 5 public service activities, 3 capital improvement projects, 1 micro-enterprise program, 2 housing preservation programs, a fair housing program required by HUD, and CDBG program administration for program planning, monitoring, and reporting to HUD. The action plan includes home funding for 1 program to provide owner-occupied housing rehabilitation loans and a home program administration account for the program planning, monitoring, and reporting to HUD. With the City Council's approval this evening, we are prepared to submit this action plan to HUD for their approval. And that concludes the report.
You're in the queue. Are you? Mr. Scott.
Mr. Talbert, could you just go over the 3-year funding cycle?
Yes. As you'll recall, 2 years ago, we implemented a new way of allocating the public services portion of these monies, whereby we committed to each of the recipients a 3-year guarantee of funding. The concept there was for them to utilize those monies to build programmatic capacities so that we would wean them off of the monies so that they would be, able to go forward and multiply, and we could start on 3 new, different, hopefully different public services. Or also there are instances in very large organizations like the YMCA where they will get a program started, it becomes self-sufficient, and they'll find a new program that uses this seed money to get it going. So this is the final year in that 3-year commitment for these programs, and we have been doing outreach, meeting with some of our larger recipients and having multiple meetings to get them queued up for this next round of NOFA allocations, and that seems to be going pretty well. Did that answer the question?
Yes, and I appreciate you going over that, and I think it's important for us to say that here at this meeting and that all of our colleagues hear that as well. This is something new. This is our next year we'll complete the first 3-year cycle, and the fact that you are reaching out to make those contacts with those agencies is critically important so that they are not caught off guard, and it has been in their agreement each of the past 2 years as well, correct?
Yes, we've tried to literally really hold their hand through this, because not only just to remind them so that they aren't caught off guard this coming year, but to really we've spent a lot of time with LDM, our consultants, in working with them in between times and helping them think through how to build capacity, how to create new programs within their organization. Some of them are fairly limited. As an example, Party Partners, they do one thing. I'm not real confident they're going to find new ways to build capacity, but a lot of the other programs that we work with, like the Y and some of the others, they do have that opportunity, so we're really trying to think through what the national objectives are for the money and how they can build new programs that will meet those objectives and be available for new funding. So this was an important step. They've been reminded, emailed, advertised, called. I mean, you name it. Like, we've touched them on every channel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, seeing nobody else asking questions,